Okay, well, I'm not going to get to all these questions, and actually Lynn has answered most of them. Lynn, I want to put one final question to you, and the reason why is because it is an identical question that has come in one form or another from literally every continent on the planet, and also from, by my count, about 19 states within the United States, and they're all basically the same question. They all start out thanking you for all that you've done and for all that you represent. But then they go on to say, as an individual citizen, I have only one question for you. What should an individual citizen do? That is, what concrete action can I take that will lead to a reversal of these policies and a return to a path of progress?
All we have to do is unite individually around a common purpose, and that's to do this. It's simple. Because if we are united to one single common purpose, and enough of us are united, energetic about enough, among nations and by nations and so forth, and within nations, it will work. All we need is what makes the difference between man and an animal. The human mind is capable of making a policy decision on which humanity can act with the force of being humanity. And that one decision, if made and if supported, will solve all our problems, either by solving the problem itself or by creating the circumstance in which the problem will, in a sense, solve itself. All we have to do is to return to the intention which the founders of the United States Republic came to understand in the process of trying to craft a self-government to correspond to their independence. And that was in 1787 on. And all we have to do is to create that same kind of society where you had a bunch of bankrupt states, then totally bankrupt, with banking systems. And by the introduction of the concept of the credit system as opposed to the monetary system, Alexander Hamilton presented what was recognized as the Massachusetts policy of a credit system. If the members of the states realize that and act in concert on that, if the members of nations recognize that and adopt the same policy of the credit system, then we're out of the woods. Because humanity will then work on that job, that task, rather than what they've been doing now. But we have to have in this implies a sense of a federation of humanity, of the human species. That we have a national government, which in our design is an excellent government, the best in the world for that purpose, in terms of the relation of the states, the citizen, and the United States. What Roosevelt was working toward is not for one world government, but for a system of government among nations which are respectively sovereign, but are united in this principle and are intended to cooperate and on this basis of this principle. And that is, what is it? The difference between man and the beast. Man has creative powers to innovate, to make discoveries of universal physical principles and related principles, and to use those principles by applying them to our condition to do what man can do. What can man do? Do you realize what we can do? We're having fun in the basement with this kind of thing. What we can do. Man's power. We're now looking at how do you manage the galaxy? How does the galaxy work? We're looking beyond that toward other questions. We're looking at all kinds of matters. We have tremendous opportunities, intellectual opportunities, which we can apply to these circumstances. NWAPA is the best typification of that. Because it's such, for two things. It's feasible for us now. And it's the greatest thing that anyone can imagine which could actually be done on this planet right now. So there may be better things down the line, and certainly there are. But this is a good one to begin with.
And also, in terms of concrete actions that you can take as an individual citizen to ensure that this is done, is you can take measures to defend the continued existence of this movement. And you can do that very concretely by making a financial contribution. Whatever you can. We're well aware of the fact that these are extremely difficult times. And I know that some people, both here in the audience and who are listening via the internet, have extended themselves. But at this moment, I would ask you to extend yourselves further, because clearly we have a job to do. We have a very short period of time in which to do it. And I think the one thing that today's event really clearly established beyond any shadow of a doubt is that while this guy's eyes may be bad, there is nothing wrong with his mind. Please join me in thanking him.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you. I hope you'll like it.